Oh, Wartech, how I hate you. Yes, I understand that you originally were a decent arcade game. However, in your trip to console, it was, how shall we say, lackluster. Now, there's many things wrong with Wartech. Number one being, it's too short. Okay, you see, I get it, it's an arcade game being ported over to the console. Big whoop. We've had other arcade games ported over to the console too, but those aren't nearly as short or as bad as Wartech. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong, the idea is solid. The idea around the game is solid, but it's just executed horribly. The main idea about this game, with how I can see they wanted to pull it off, was they wanted to take a game like R-Type or Triggerhard Excelica and turn it into a mech fighting game. Now, that does sound promising. However, the way that these guys did it, I'm sorry, but Ubisoft dropped the ball. Now, as you can probably tell right away from how this looks, the main problem here is that, even though it's supposed to be a bullet hell style game, there are only 2 characters on screen. Yeah, in a bullet hell style game, we need to have those other enemies flying around shooting at us as well, at least having us dodge them. Because that right there would have added a lot more intensity to this, instead of making this slow-paced at the speed of maybe... I think a snail goes faster than this thing. I mean, yeah, if you're good at it, you can make it fast-paced, and at that point, congrats to you. But it's just, for the casual player, this game is not going to do anything for them. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's worth the $3 that I spent on it. Okay, I'm sorry. Once again, I know the arcade version was good, but this port is horrible. The controls, they're alright. You know, nothing wrong with them really. Standard, use the left thumbstick to strafe around, hit X or A to boost, you know, stuff like that. It's just the common controls, you know, so the controls are good. However, once again, it's the gameplay that kills it, because it's laggy. Very, very slow. Now, there is one thing that changes up the gameplay a little bit, and that is boss mode, which is when the person who's playing, or the AI, activates their special mode called boss, spelled B.O.S.S, which doesn't that seem a little too complicated for a game like this, you know? It's just... Anyhow, I digress. They activate that mode, and suddenly it feels like you're fighting a boss in a bullet hell game. Now that part is actually fun. I actually am able to enjoy that little moment of it. However, whenever you play as the boss, that... it's pretty much a hit X to not die moment, you know? Matter of fact, I almost feel like I could set down the controller and still win. But this game, okay. I'm going to get onto another thing, and people, don't judge me right off the bat, but I'm going to mention the graphics. Yes, I know graphics don't make a game, but this is just inexcusable. Alright, it's an arcade port. I understand that. So, for all you who are fans of the arcade version, stop yelling at me. The port, though, the graphics, it looks like I'm back 2 or 3 generations of consoles, okay? And that is not how it's supposed to look. Okay, we're on the 360 and the PS3 now. Games are supposed to look good. The graphics here, though, they just make me want to fall asleep. I mean, they're dull, they're boring, you know. It's just bland. Nothing interesting going on. I mean, jeez. Anyhow, now I've got that out of the way, because, let's face it, what I just said sort of covers the graphics for the entire game instead of just certain aspects of it. Because if you look at the attacks, graphics are bland. If you look at the character models, graphics are bland. The only thing that I give this game props for is the 2D artwork design, though I will say they need to work on making the guys not look like making the guys not look like they're girls. Anyhow, time to go to my next point. Once again, this game is supposed to be a bullet hell game. It's supposed to be fun. But in most bullet hell games, there is no way to block, you know, the incoming bullets that are at you. This game, however, gives you a block button. Okay, let me just think about this for a second. It's a game where you have the ability to dodge and maneuver around the way that you need to, yet they give you a block button. And to top things off, in order to do some of your better attacks, you have to hold the block button and then hit the attack button. That's just... that's sloppy design right there. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is Wartech, it had promise. It had really good promise. But this game just didn't live up. Ubisoft dropped the ball on this, and I can't even understand what the story's supposed to be. I tried. I've played at least 3 campaigns in there to try and figure it out, but still nothing. And for that, I give this game maybe a 1 out of 10. I'm sorry guys, but it's just utter crap. This is Alberio Crafts signing out and saying, if you have the choice to play either this game or another crappy game, you're better off playing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on the NES.